So we have sand falling onto a pile, okay, and in magical math land, okay, it's falling into the shape of a perfect cone, okay? So just pretend it's falling into a perfect cone-shaped pile. So here's the sand, dee, 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 dee. Okay, and then it magically makes a cone shape. Okay, there we go. Now it says it's falling onto it at a rate of 10 cubic feet per minute. What is that a measurement of if it's cubic feet? Volume. So dV/dt is 10. Now, important thing to note here. My volume is increasing because the sand is falling onto the pile and making it bigger, yeah? Okay, from here, when, and then equation. Okay, so then it says the diameter of the base of the cone is 3 times the altitude. So not only are we forming a perfect cone, but the diameter is always 3 times the altitude. I'm going to put that over here, and then I'm going to put a question mark. Okay, then it says, at what rate is the height of the pile changing? What would that be? dH/dt, very good. Okay, the height of the pile changing when it is 15 feet high. Height is 15. Okay, then my equation obviously is given to you right here. So it says volume equals 1/3 pi r squared h. Okay, here's the problem with this one, that this crap up here is going to come in. Okay, do you notice that I have an r and an h? That means I'd have to use what rule when I take the derivative? Product rule, yeah? Now, when I do product rule, I'd have a dr dt and a dH dt. Did they tell me anything about r? Did they tell me dr dt? No, they didn't give me any information about r. So what that means is we need to try to get rid of r. So think about, if my diameter is 3 times the altitude, let's come back to that real quick. What is diameter in terms of the radius? 2r. And what is altitude the same as? Height. So twice the radius is 3 times the height. Well, then let's do a substitution. What is r if I solve? Then r equals 3h over 2. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to sub that in for my r, so that instead of having r's and h's, where I would have to do product rule, I'm going to have only h's and no more r's. Okay? So let's do a substitution. Substitute r equals 3h over 2. So we have 1/3 pi. My r is 3h over 2 squared times another h. Any questions about that so far? Okay, I want you to try to reduce that and make it pretty before we take the derivative. So reduce it, and then we're going to take the derivative. So what could I do with the fraction if it's squared? What do I need to make sure I square on it? The top and the bottom. So do that. And then if I have an r squared and another r, how many r's are in my final answer? Or I'm sorry, I meant to say h. Sorry, I'm trying to save my computer from dying. It's like it's going to slide off the thing and die. What? No. Yes, you can. Okay, so, alright, we're back. Okay, so 3 squared is how many? Okay, so 1/3 pi, this is 9 over 4, because I have to square the fraction. And then if it's h squared times another h, that's an h cubed. Yeah? Okay, let's take the derivative. Here we go. What's the derivative of v? dV/dt. And then when I take the derivative, now, you could combine these fractions if you want to, okay? But the reason I'm not is, what's going to happen when I times my 3 down on my 1/3? they're going to cancel out. So you could combine it if you want to. I'm just not going to. Because when I times my 3 down on my 1/3, now they're both gone. Now, what is the power going to be on my h? Pi times 9/4 h squared followed by a what? dh dt. Very good. So my 3 times my 1/3 crosses out. H is now squared. dh dt on the end. Now we can plug stuff in. So my dv dt is what? 10. Then I'm going to make this 9 pi over 4 just to kind of put that crap together. And then what is my h? 15 squared dh dt. Now, when I solve, how will I get rid of the fraction? To get rid of a fraction, I multiply by its reciprocal. So on this side, I'm going to multiply by 4 over 9 pi. That's going to cross that out. And if I do 4 times 10 on the top, remember fractions, you times the tops and the bottoms together, that'd be what? 40 over 9 pi. So to get rid of the fraction, I multiply by the reciprocal, and now to get rid of the 15 squared, I'm going to divide that onto the bottom. So it'll be 40 over 9 pi times 15 squared. dh dt. Now, if this was a calculator question, obviously you'd find out what that is, yeah. But since we don't have a calculator, well, maybe you do, maybe you don't. Okay, but I'm just going to leave it like that. Now, question, does it make sense my rate came out positive? Because what's happening to the height of the pile as the cone magically falls? It's increasing. Okay, so this is a positive. Height is increasing. And that should at least somewhat make sense. Okay? Alright, we're going to do one more cone question. We're going to do the one where it comes out of the cone. Water pours out of a conical tank of 10 feet with radius 4. It is number 7, even though we know they're out of order. That one right there. Do y'all think this is hard? Or you just hate this? What'd you say? You are very, you know what? You picked a great girlfriend, so you must be kind of smart. Okay, draw your cone. Okay? It says this time water's pouring out of the cone. So maybe it's like coming out of the bottom, okay, into who knows where, okay? But the water's going out of the cone. Then it says of height 10 and radius 4. So let's do my height here is 10. And my radius is 4. Okay, then it says at a rate of 10 cubic feet per minute. What did they just give you? Okay, good. Volume. Find given when, and then our equation is given to you. Blah, blah, blah. That. Okay. So they gave me that the volume is 10. Is that correct? dv dt is 10? No, what's wrong with it? Negative 10. Why? Because the water is pouring out of the cone. Okay. Then it says, how fast is the water level changing? What would water level measure? The height. Very good. Okay, dh dt. Now, let's talk about something for a second. I thought the cone was 10. Is the cone 10? Yes. Is the water 10? No. So as the water goes down, I need to introduce a second variable. It's going to be h, but h is standing for the height of the water, not the height of the tank, yeah? Now, what else do I need to introduce a letter for? R. Very good. Because as my water level drops, what's going to happen to the radius where the water's at? It's going to start shrinking. It's going to taper off as it gets to the narrow part of the cone. Okay? So our when, does it say a when? When it is 5 feet high, what would that be? H is 5. Yeah? Okay, so look at your equation. If I tried to take the derivative, what rule would I need? If you can avoid product rule, you should. So product rule is not going to help us because we don't know dr dt. We're going to end up getting to a dead end. However, what do you notice about, I'm going to trace in here, I have a big triangle, and then I have a little triangle. I just heard the P word. What is it? Proportional. Okay, this triangle and this bigger triangle are proportional to each other. So that means that I can set up a base word proportion. Okay, so triangles are similar is the technical word. So the sides are proportional.
Divide by 2 here, right?
I don't know what you mean. So look, so I'm going to set up this. Look, R over H equals what? 4 over 10. Very good. And then if I want to solve for a substitution, what would R have to equal then? 4 over 10 times H, yeah? You would just pull your H up off the bottom. Some teachers teach it as like cross multiply. I don't care if you do that. That's fine. You'd get 10R equals 4H, and then you'd have to divide by 10. So same thing. Okay? And then from there, can I go ahead and reduce that before I substitute? Yeah, I'm going to make it 2 over 5H. Okay? So now we're coming back to the original equation over here, and we're going to now sub that in. Okay? So it'll be volume equals 1/3 pi. R is now a 2H over 5 squared H. Okay, so I took my R out, I plugged in an H substitute. Then from there, I'm going to simplify, then take the derivative. So my simplified version, I'm going to leave the 1/3. What is 2 squared on top? 4. What's 5 squared on bottom? 25. Then I have an H squared times another H, so that's an H cubed. Then from there, you take the derivative. So it'd be dv dt on that side. And then on the other side, my 3 times is down on the 1/3. It'll cross out. You'll have pi 4 over 25h squared dh dt. And then from there, it works out very similarly to the other one. You do have to remember, though, my dv dt was what? Not just 10, but negative 10. 4 pi over 25. What was my height for this one? And what's going to happen if I have 5 squared over 25? Those guys are going to conveniently cancel out with each other. And then to get rid of the 4 pi, I'd have to divide it on the bottom. So our dh dt would come out to be negative 10 over 4 pi. Now, does it make sense that my height rate came out negative? Because as the water drains out of the cone, what's going to happen to the height of the water inside it? It's going to be decreasing. Make sense? Okay, these get harder tomorrow. So make sure, I would try to get some of your homework done. Yeah?
Friday, right?
It'll be due Friday. Actually, I think I'll probably make it due Monday because we're going to do another day of it on Friday. Y'all will have a quiz over this on Monday, so we'll push your homework to be due Monday, just so you can plan for that.